Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday. I hope you can hear me. I have some problems for us to do today to practice with math and to kind of review everything that we've done. It is a cumulative assignment. So what a cumulative means, bringing everything that we've learned so far and putting it into one place. So we're putting it into this one assignment. We're going to go over factors, multiples, and some fractions. Since we did decimals yesterday, it's fresh in our brains. I'm just going to stick with the factors, multiples, and fractions. So I'm going to go over each subject individually, give a brief review of it since we've learned it already, and then I'll give us a few problems to do. So let's start off with some factors. I was going to say fractions, but factors. So we know factors, those are numbers that evenly go into other numbers. So all the factors of 4 are 1, 2, and 4. Those are all the numbers that go into 4 evenly. 3 does not go into 4 evenly. All the factors of the number 12, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. 1 goes in 12 times, 2 goes in 6 times, 3 goes in 4 times, 4 goes in 3 times, 6 goes in, you got it, 2 times, and 12 goes in once. So let's just start with some practicing of listing some factors of some numbers. So, oh, and also factors are very important. The idea of factors are very important when you get into algebra. So if you want to do good in algebra, remember all this stuff. So number 1, I want you to list all of the factors of 14. So write 14 equals, then write all of the factors. And so have a comma in between each factor. Number 2, list all of the factors of 12. So write 12 equals, then all the factors of 12. Number 3, find all of the factors of 25. So write 25 equals, then list all those factors. Number 4, it's getting a little harder. We're going to find all of the factors of 50. So find 50 equals, and then list all of those factors. There's going to be quite a few of them. And then number 5, oh wow, look at that. That's kind of a hard one, but you can do it. You're going to find all of the factors of 75. So write 75 equals, and then all of those factors. And then that's our review of factors. Pretty simple, right? Moving on, we've got greatest common factor. You remember doing some of these. So greatest common factor means the biggest factor that is shared. Remember, common means it has shared traits. It means shared. So greatest common, biggest shared factor. So if we wanted to find the greatest common factor between 9 and 12, we list off all of the factors for 9, which would be 1, 3, and 9. And then we list all the factors of 12, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. So the biggest one that they have shared is 3. So we would write equals 3. So here's a couple of problems for you to do. I got 8 of them. Number 1, I want you to find the greatest common factor between 6 and 8. 6 and 8. Number 2, I want you to find the greatest common factor between 4 and 6. So 4 and 6. Number 3, I want you to find the greatest common factor between 12 and 3. Number 4, I want you to find the greatest common factor between 6 and 9. Number 5, I want you to find the greatest common factor between 8 and 20. Number 6, I want you to find the greatest common factor between 16 and 28. So 16, 1, 6, and 28, 2, 8. Number 7, I want you to find the greatest common factor between 30 and 18. So 3, 0, and 1, 8, 30 and 18. The last one, I want you to find the greatest common factor between 36 and 30. So that's 3, 6, and 3, 0. So that's our review of greatest common factors. So we did factors and greatest common factors. So you may see some problems that ask you to compare 3 factors. And so don't forget that you may be asked to find that. Don't be shocked. All right, now we move on to multiples. Multiples, remember it sounds like multiply. Multiples are the number that can be divided by another number without a remainder. So 10, 15, and 20 are all multiples of 5. 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 3 is 15, and 5 times 4 is 20. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 are all multiples of what? 2, that's right. So 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 4 is 8, and so on. So multiples are numbers that can be divided by another number without a remainder. So I want you to find the first 10 multiples of 2. So find the first 10 multiples of 2. So 2 times 1, 2 times 2, 2 times 3, all the way up till 2 times 10. Then I want you to find the first 5 multiples of 4. So 4 times 1, 4 times 2, all the way to 4 times 5. Then I want you to find the first 5 multiples of the number 12. So it's a bigger one, 12 times 1, 12 times 2, all the way to 12 times 5. List them with commas in between each multiple. And the last one I want you to do is 5 multiples of the number 14. So that may require you to do some math. We have 14 times 1, 14 times 2, all the way up till 14 times 5. So you're going to list out all those numbers. So good luck with that. That is multiples. Next up, we move on to least common multiples. So least common multiples, remember, common means shared. So the least common multiple, least means smallest, smallest shared multiple between two numbers. So if I had 2 multiples, let's say I have 3 and 4, then I want to see what the smallest multiple that is shared between both of those numbers. So 3, we have 3 times 1, which is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 4 is 12, and we'll do one more just for safeties. 3 times 5 is 15. So 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15, those are all the multiples I have listed for 3. And then 4, let's see, we have 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12, 4 times 4 is 16. Then we'll do one more. We'll have 5 multiples like we did with 3. So 4 times 5 is 20. So we look at all those multiples. 3 has 3, but 4 does not. So we know that's not a common multiple. The next smallest multiple of 3 is 6, which 4 does not have. So we know that's not going to be shared. The next smallest for 4 is 8, which is not shared with 3. So we know that that is not similar. 3 has a multiple of 9, in which 4 does not. So that's not shared. It's not common. But then we see 12. 12 is the next multiple that both numbers have in common. So we know 12 is the least common multiple between 3 and 4. So let's practice with a few more problems. So it helps to write out about, I don't know, about 5 or 6 multiples of each number, and then cross off all the multiples that aren't shared, and whatever is left and not crossed out, the smallest numbers are your least common multiples. So our first numbers, I want to find the least common multiple of 2 and 3. So number 1, find the least common multiple of 2 and 3. Number 2, find the least common multiple of 4 and 2. Number 3, find the least common multiple of 7 and 4. Number 4, find the least common multiple of 6 and 10. Number 5, find the least common multiple of 10 and 5. 6, find the least common multiple of 12 and 15. And number 7, find the least common multiple of 12 and 20. So find all of those least common multiples and list your answers. Might require a lot of work. Just write everything out if you need to. Don't try to do it in your head because you may forget numbers or just lose track of them. So those are least common multiples. Lastly, we're just going to do a few basic fraction problems. You know how to do addition, where we need common denominators. Same with subtraction, we need common denominators. When we do multiplication and division, we don't need common denominators. Multiplication is pretty easy. You just multiply across numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator. Division, you can't forget to flip that second fraction, and when you flip it, you change it to a multiplication sign. Then do the same as multiplication, then numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. Then simplify your answers as needed. So I got 12 problems for you. They're all pretty simple. None with mixed numbers. They're all just basic fractions. So number one is 1/2 plus 3/4. So that's 1/2 plus 3/4. Number two is 1/4 divided by 1/10. 1/4 divided by 1/10. Number three is 2/10 times 1/2. So 2/10 times 1/2. Number four is 4/5 minus 1/2. 4/5 minus 1/2. Number five is 1/2 plus 1/5. So that's 1/2 plus 1/5. Number six is 2/3 plus 3/4. So that's 2/3 plus 3/4. Number seven is 1/4 divided by 1/3. So 1/4 divided by 1/3. Number eight is 5/10 times 1/2. So 5/10 times 1/2. Number nine is 8/10 minus 2/4. So 8/10 minus 2/4. Number 10 is 3/5 divided by 1/4. So 3/5 divided by 1/4. Number 11 is 1/2 divided by 1/3. So 1/2 divided by 1/3. Last problem is 8/10 times 4/5. Excuse me, start over. 8/10 times 4/5. 8/10 times 4/5. So good luck with those problems, and just set aside any problems you're having trouble with and make sure to do the ones that you can do. Come back and look at the ones that you were having trouble with. And if you run out of time, then we will go over those in class. Thank you very much and good luck.